Welcome back to Shadows of Doubt. And the stream seems to be running. Okay. I played today already, and then I streamed a little bit, and then I streamed. After the stream, I just looked around a bit for this, case. I have to find the ballet-loving person, and I played it offline because it's not such interesting content. But anyways, then another murder happened, and then I saved the game. And now I'm continuing, and I intend to do the stream role playing as a detective. So let us begin. And I have a bottle of soju here. My first sip goes now. I'm Argonaut, Adventure Argonaut, but they call me Dick because I'm a private dick, a detective, and I came to Rectopolis, how do you say it, a week ago, homeless, but now I got plenty of money in my wallet and a dingy basement apartment. I've been solving crimes, murders, and some other petty crimes and not so petty ones. And anyway, I was here in the city hall, looking at the ballet loving criminal. It's a case I regret taking. I've been working on it for a while. And then another murder was announced. A bloody murderer. That's what all they told me. This is 701 Aikens Terrace. Aikens Terrace is a familiar place. Been there many times. Many murders have happened there. At least many crimes. Oh, wait. No, this is wrong. I'm not gonna. My GPS system is not working properly. It's Aikens Terrace. I don't mean the hotel. Okay. Let's go. What's going on? Why isn't it working? Okay, now. Now I'm being directed to Aikens Terrace. You know, I've traipsed this street so many times already, but I still get confused. What building is what? What is Aikens Terrace? What is Stanley? What is Langley? And there's Cathal Van Dyke holding a gun. What are you doing? Who are you? Why do I know your name? I recognize you, but I'm not sure why. There's a cop. I've seen them before, but I don't remember where. You know, after enough crimes, enough witnesses, enough whatever, you start to recognize people. I've seen their fingerprints. Where are you going? Are you going to the crime scene? I hope I get there first. I don't want the cops messing things up. They always do. They work for Starch, Cola Corporation. And you know, they don't care about justice or none of that stuff. Ooh. Okay, who are you? Wait, is this the crime scene? Am I 701 Aikens Terrace? That's it, right? Why are you pursuing me? I guess I should take the elevator down. See, this is what you get. You try to solve. You try to follow justice. You get into the apartment and no, it doesn't work that way. I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay, let's go back. I think they lost my trace. They didn't get a good whiff of my face. Identify suspect. Do I have a bottle? I have some milk. I had some milk in my pocket. Decided to drink it in the elevator. Okay, that's the crime scene now. The cops got there before me. That sucks. Well, I found the body in the bathroom next to the in front of the radiator next to the shower. A message was written in red. I wasn't sure if it was blood or just paint. It said the new generation. It sounded like a pop group. I was disgusted already. So I saw a small caliber entry wound on the body. Bullet wound from low caliber ammunition. It was either 8mm or 9 times 32. I wasn't sure. I couldn't use guns. They were too difficult for me. And the victim was Lina Ross. I'd seen her before. I'd interviewed her before. There was some case. I forgot which one. But yeah, Lina. She was dead. Age 37. Yeah, those green eyes. They were lifeless now. And he checked it through her pockets. Only her bullet hole. And the death. She'd been shot to death with a pistol or a revolver. I estimated it happened last night, around between 2:45 and 4 o'clock on Saturday. What a day! What a time to! What a time to die between Friday and Saturday. That was the time you should be happiest, getting drunk, forgetting about everything. And I saw her glasses underneath her body. I couldn't get to them, and I didn't think it would matter. And there was a toy car on the floor. I wonder whether she had a kid, or where did the car come from. And there was blood on the walls, next to some picture of vomit. Yeah, it sums up this my whole job in this city. Then I started looking for prints. Had the killer left any here? The victim had. This was her place after all. Yeah, they were all over the toothpaste, the sink, and boxes. But how about the car? There was a strange fingerprint on the car. It might have been left by the killer. Maybe it was a sign. Maybe it was accident. Maybe there was a struggle. I didn't see many signs of it, but who knows? Maybe the last thing she did was tug the killer's pocket, and the car fell out. I didn't know. Only Lena knew. Assuming there was an afterlife. Ah, there was a cartridge. Yep, she was definitely shot. A single shot, single kill. Our guy was good, or at least lucky. Another fingerprint on the wall. I wasn't sure whether Lena had a husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. Cat? Well, I don't think there were cats in this city. I think they were outlawed. I haven't seen any. No dogs either. Yeah, this was the kind of place Rectopolis was. And there was a footprint. Normal, size 11. I checked my notes. Did it say? The shoe size was 10 for Lena, so it wasn't her footprint. It was close, but not hers. And a carton of milk on the floor. Was she messy? Or was it the killer, her boyfriend? Maybe the cop left it. Didn't know. Sharpener. And a candlestick with her fingerprints all over it. Oh, Lena. I wonder if I stayed a few more months, how many people would be left. It seems like there was a murder out here. Oh, I read the book, the Candor Book of Animals. It wasn't interesting. But I was paid. One of my sync discs gave me money when I read books. I didn't get why, but hey, money is money. I wasn't complaining. Not about the money. That was the only good thing about this city. Getting paid. At least they knew how to do that. Or rather, they knew how to pay me. I knew how to get paid. A lipstick. With fingerprints. It was still January. And Lena would have had her birthday next month. And Cameron Watson, who's this? Was probably her boyfriend. Or friend, who knows. And I found a gun. With her fingerprints. Yeah, her fingerprints all over the gun. It was just lying around. Bit irresponsible, I'd say. But I don't think it was used to kill her. Maybe it was, but I wasn't ruling out anything yet. There was a note. To the jerk who keeps standing outside my door and messing with my mail. Cut it out or I'll call the enforcers. You know who you are. I wonder why it was inside. Why wasn't it pinned to her door if somebody was messing with her mail? Yeah, why wasn't it next to the mailbox? Didn't make much sense to me. Shoe size 11, so it was probably her boyfriend's. I got thirsty. Yeah, Lena's shoe size was 11, her boyfriend seemed to be 10. Boyfriend or girlfriend. Didn't know, didn't care. Well, eventually I would find out. There was a hammer and her work ID. She worked in Offinex Technologies, HR administrator. Suddenly I felt less sympathy for the poor woman. Still, I don't think she deserved what she got. I saw some mildew in the closet. That's why I guess they didn't leave any clothes there. Okay. I wondered whether they had a computer, and I saw the computer. And a hairpin. Hairpins were always nice. They got you into wherever you needed to go. And a key to her apartment and some money. She wouldn't be needing it anymore. Yeah, it's dirty business, but at least I was doing her a favor, trying to get some justice for her. So I wouldn't feel too bad. And her work rota, 9 to 5. What a surprise. And birth control pills. I wondered whether Phoebe McGuire seemed to live with her, so it was another lesbian couple who was into birth control. I still didn't understand it, but I guess it wasn't my business to. I wasn't a lesbian. And wasn't going to turn into a lesbian anytime soon. I found some candy. And paperclip. Yeah. I hoped Phoebe would lose her appetite. And there was a note. You are not being followed. It's just your mind. Take the pills. Yeah, you schizo. Clearly she wasn't. Pica pepper sauce. No, I had some milk again. I got really tired of milk, but I was thirsty. So, yeah, I put it back in the fridge. Oops, I actually threw it around. I was losing control of my limbs. I didn't know what this world was going to. And there was blood. I just noticed. There was blood by the phone stand. What was going on? More birth control pills and Kolob grieving. 10 years ago, after leaving Earth as the solo engineer of the first Astra V-mail pipe, Kolob King waits alone on science fiction. Or perhaps it was the holy book to a new religion. I wasn't sure and I didn't think there was a difference anymore. Except, I guess, science fiction can have a happy ending. There was another cartridge in the kitchen. I wondered why. Ah, there was more blood in the kitchen as well. So was there another murder? Or was the... I started reconstructing the scenario in my mind. So the victim was here in the kitchen when the perp walked in. He shot at her and she ran. She ran, where did she run off to? She ran to the bathroom trying to get away, and then another shot came in, ending her misery. And then the perp wrote the new generation. Yeah, I still wondered whether it was some horrible boy band that would make you want to dispose of yourself were you to listen to their garbage. And there was milk in the garbage, and the starch candy wrapper I just thrown in. Nothing else, and I got stinky after looking into it. I regretted going to the garbage already. The comb and a hairpin, not much in the drawers. Spectacles, and some more money. Lina Ross's business card. I think it was the second one, but I noted it down and found notes showing her password. I was elated. Very happy, but not surprised. They usually write down their passwords like this. The people in this city don't seem to have the best memory, or they're not too smart, but it makes my job easier, so I'm not gonna complain about that. There was only some sync disk file in the safe, so I decided to pocket it, because why not? PM was Phoebe, I assume. I found her password as well. And a secret envelope to a toxicological report that looked very familiar. YC12. About the drug Paxidol. It had some side effects. This was a case I was familiar with. In fact, I'd stolen the report from another person already, so I wasn't going to look into it again. I'd seen the report. It wasn't up to me whether the authorities or anybody else was to follow it. Phoebe McGuire. I found her employment contract. I didn't pay attention where she was even working. I didn't care. Lina Ross, she worked in Offinex. Yeah, I knew that already. And she had an optician's prescription. Yeah, she had glasses. I noticed. And she was a tenant of Lara Dye, however you pronounce the name. You know, this was usual stuff. Everybody had it. You know, it was like an asshole. And bank statements of Phoebe Maguire. I wrote down the details just in case. And the birth certificates as well. Because why would not? Why wouldn't I do that? This was beginning to become a routine. Somebody died, I broke into their apartment, looked through their stuff, their information, their computer. Still, if I didn't do it, who would? Who would bring justice? The cops wouldn't. The enforcers, no, they didn't care. If it didn't endanger Starch Cola, they didn't give a fuck. I was the foremost form of justice in this town, even though I wasn't no paragon of virtue myself. Yeah. So her doctor said she was paranoid, and then she was killed. I began to think this wasn't the first time I'd seen it. This was so at least the third time. You know, the victim before dying, they were worried somebody was after them and told their doctor, but the doctor said they were paranoid. So I was beginning to think that the doctors, the psychiatrists, whoever, they were in on it all. They were in cahoots. There was some conspiracy to convince people that, you know, nobody was after them when it was. Male with short hair. I wrote down the details. Yeah, a male with short hair had been following her. I printed the email. Request for your help from a Nigerian prince who wanted money. Okay, Ilya Balaz had matched with Lina on VLove. It was one of those dating sites, I believe. I don't know. I didn't believe in love, so I didn't use them sites either. I could interview Ilya later if it was necessary. Yeah, I found evidence of Phoebe Maguire calling Lina Ross Honey Bunny, another lesbian couple with birth control pills. Maybe they didn't know much about biology, you know, lesbians doing the dirty, no chance of pregnancy. At least that was the last time I checked. Maybe biology had changed since then, since I graduated from high school. Yeah. Okay, Joey Morrison seemed to be a friend of Lena. Yeah, I printed the email just in case I needed to talk to him. No, maybe he could tell me something. Maybe she told him about her worries. Somebody was complaining about noise complaint to Lena. Didn't much care. Eden was dead. Another spam mail. Why do people get this? I don't know. Yeah. Were there drawers on the dresser? Yes, indeed, there were. And a wristwatch. I had room in my pockets. I took it. I could sell it later. You know, I believed in communism. Whoever was the greediest could get the money. That's how communism works. Like, you know, property was theft and all that. Okay. I guess it was time to go. Wait, I recalled about the fingerprints. I think I'd recovered 3 people's fingerprints in the apartment. Yeah, there were Lina's, then there were sample A, their fingerprints, and was there some? And then there was FX. I decided to look for a few more prints. Yeah, Lina's fingerprints on the milk carton on the floor. I wondered why it was there. And there was an eraser with N's fingerprints. N was probably Phoebe. Where was Phoebe? I hadn't marked down her profile, and I regretted it already. Phoebe McGuire. Yeah, that was her. I didn't have her fingerprints. I'd have to work on that eventually. Another cartridge. So there were at least 3 bullets fired. Lena Ross, she had left her fingerprints all over the crime scene. I wished the killer would have done me a favor and did the same thing. N. Yes, the fingerprint N, that had to be Phoebe's. I went back into the toilet to have a look. Where was the fingerprint? FX, it was somewhere here, wasn't it? It was on the toy car. Yes, it was on the toy car. I wondered what significance could this car have? I don't think it was here by accident. They didn't have children. So it had to have some significance. But it was time to leave. I decided to go up 1 floor. I think the camera center was here. I unlocked the door since I'd stolen the key a long time ago. And there was a janitor here or something, but he walked out without noticing me, so I should have counted myself lucky. And then he walked in. Oh no! And then he attacked me, and I had to defend myself completely legitimately and knock him out with a hammer. Delford. I remember Delford Meyer. I recall knocking him out before. He'd been a suspect in a case. Probably the first case here. The case of a stolen baseball card. It was a funny story. The victim hired me to find her card, but as I arrived at her apartment, she was dead. And it took me a long while to figure out both where the card was. I did that first, and then I figured out the killer was a different person. And he should be in jail now too. But anyways, I think he was my first suspect, but he was innocent. The time of the murder was between 2:45 and 4 at midnight, or after midnight. I checked 7th floor. Yeah. Saturday. I kept checking the cameras, but nobody was there during midnight, except this guy. I was pretty sure I got him already. I was a bit disappointed. However, you never know. Maybe a case was complicated, and even worse than being disappointed is if a case is complicated. I toggled the flag, so I'd notice any other instances of this man. But no, he'd just been in the crime scene around that time. And nobody else. No, there was this Jenny Metcalf. Jenny. I recognized her name and her face, but I wasn't sure why. Had I interviewed her, I don't think she'd ever been a suspect, but maybe a witness in some case. Yeah, Jenny Metcalf. I don't know, I sort of felt bad for the broad. Her last name makes her sound like Meatloaf. But yeah, she was there. But she was on a different floor, I believe, so I don't think she'd done it. I started checking the other floors for traces of our suspected murderer. But I could see no tag, except when I did. On the first floor, our suspect was... Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to take the picture printout. Lobby of the first floor. So he came into the building around this time, I believe. No, he left 3:59. So that was after he had killed. Pretty sure. I wanted to print out the pictorial evidence of the killer, or the suspected killer. Somebody was coming in. I opened the door and ran away. Maybe the elevator would be better. I wasn't being chased. I wanted to talk to Victoire Morgan. Had Victoire said anything? I wasn't sure if it was a man or a woman's name, and I no longer cared. I asked about my suspect. Man with a beige hat. At least I think it was a hat. They'd been seen around Royal Lily Hotel. I couldn't talk to Alice Alvarez for some reason. Maybe because he was taking a dump on the floor, so I decided to leave. I walked down one floor. This was where the murder had happened. I decided to ask a few questions, like, "Hi, Hazel, had you seen anything unusual?" And Hazel didn't admit to it. They'd seen the suspect around Watson Terrace. I didn't know where Watson Terrace was, but I'd find out if it was necessary. I started to feel more and more like I needed a drink. I decided to interview some of the neighbors. and the cop guarding the door. The cop refused to tell me his name or any information about the murder. None of it surprised me. What the fuck happened? The alarms went haywire. I decided to bolt. I'd outstayed my welcome in Aiken's Terrace once again. But I was feeling cocky and they wouldn't get me this time either. You know, I was the only hope of justice in this sad mockery of a city. I realized I was smelly, but then there was a sink shop, so I could install that a sink component I'd found. Yeah, I upgraded my hardware, or maybe it was software. I wasn't sure. Anyway, well, I was bleeding. I guess I got shot after all. I'd have to find. I looked at the map in my pocket, looking for some place where to buy some bandages. Watson's Terrace Pharmacy. I'd been there before, and the perp had been seen around. Or the suspect. I decided to take a look. Shelf. I found a shelf. I wasn't surprised that the store would have a shelf. They even sell toilet paper. I realized since I'd come here a week ago, I hadn't taken a shit once. I don't even know what was wrong with me, but maybe there was something wrong with the food they sold in this place. Still, I felt fine and bandaged myself up. Then I went to talk to Hendrix McClinton. I wondered whether he'd seen the suspect. He'd seen somebody acting odd, with an average build. He'd seen the suspect. I wondered how did Hendrix happen upon the crime scene. I didn't see him in cameras at that time. How did he see the suspect? There was something wrong with his story, yet it was probably true. Sometimes reality made little sense. I asked him about the suspect. Yeah, he'd seen the perp in a hurry. I still asked him about the victim, Lina Ross, as well. Okay, that was enough. I decided to head home for a shower. Why was this person was walking really weirdly? Maybe he was or she was a fan of Monty Python and the silly walks. Wait. I was thirsty. I was very thirsty, so I decided to drop by a bar or a cafe. And I bought a cola. It was only $1. I'm used to paying $2 for them and I felt like a fool. But now it was cheaper. I should come here more often. Midsummer Maggot? The name wasn't inviting, but their prices were. And I threw away the can. No way hell I would abide by the cleanliness rules in this place. Nobody else did. I'd feel like a fool. I was looking for my apartment in the basement, and I found it. I wasn't drunk enough. It should have been more difficult. I took some bobbin hard cider from my fridge. I started drinking. I got drunk, and the bottle was empty. I decided to throw it away. Then I went to have a shower. I showered in the darkness with my clothes on until I was clean. I was wet, but I was clean. Then I figured I didn't need my camera for a while and left it on my nightstand. Then I'd have to go to the pawn shop to sell some of the crap I've pocketed on the way while solving cases. Yeah, I was a thief, but I was also justice. I hoped, God or whatever took that into account when they judged me. Cormac was here. I knew the guy. I liked the guy, but I didn't know why he was here. I asked him if he'd seen anything. If he'd seen our perp. He'd seen him on Etheridge Street in the morning, after the murder had happened. Nearby Rosario's. I thanked the guy. Maybe I'd have to pay Rosario. Gonzalo Rosario, I knew the guy. Not well, but I'd met him. I still asked him about Lena, poor Lena. Yeah, she was around Aiken's terrace, that's all he could say. Yeah, that's where she remained. It took a while for the authorities to clean up the bodies. I don't know why, but I thanked them for it. It made my job easier. Maybe that's why. Maybe they knew. Maybe they knew I was... Well, they knew. I sent out the forms after, I figured out all the relevant facts. I gave them the form. They were stored at the city hall. They knew I was solving their cases. It was too early. I decided to go have a drink. Could I get a drink in this joint? Except, beer. Except the cola. I tried some churros. It was my first time. I'd never tried a churro before. I didn't know what it was except synthetic junk food. Twisted fried dough sprinkled with starch sugar. It sounded very unappetizing, but hey, so was the whole city. It was like I was devouring the city and its sins with me. And then I wanted to throw up for waxing poetic for no good reason and without a license. I wondered if the food store, Koharu Kobayashi, do you have anything to sell me? No beer. I bought a cheeseburger, just for the hell of it. I could eat it later. It wouldn't be warm, but I could eat it still. At least I hoped so. Well, a hairpin for my troubles. I decided to steal some money and run away quickly. They noticed nothing, except I was pursued by Koharu. But I wondered why. Why did he bother? Why did any of us? Why did I bother solving these cases? I think nobody really cared. I'd seen lovers shed a single tear over their murdered spouses. Nothing made sense. We weren't really human anymore. Had we ever been? Was being did was being human just something that written in an old book? I saw Cormac Van Leeuwen again. I was beginning to wonder if he was homeless. Yes, he had no address. I checked my notes. I was shocked because I'd seen him. The first time I saw him was at the hotel. I thought he lived there. He looked rich to me, but I guess appearances and smells can be deceptive. I decided to talk to another bum. They refused to tell me their name. Not that had they noticed anything unusual. And they'd seen the perp in the morning on Etheridge Street and nearby Lambert Street. They were crying. It was after the murder. Why were they crying? This intrigued me. Why was the murderer crying? Why? He'd shot the woman several times, killed her in cold blood. Had she deserved it, Lena? Had she done something horrible to deserve getting shot? Did anybody deserve getting shot? I don't know. I was starting to feel like I was crazy. Crazy for caring even this much. Crazy for pretending I was the law or justice in this place. I found some Gemsteader and bought it. Finally, I could get drunk. I was getting drunk in the grocery store, but I didn't want to get too drunk. I hated when I couldn't walk around properly. I climbed on a ramshackle old car and tried climbing onto the roofs of other buildings. I wasn't up to it. I was no spider person. I was outside the alluring shanty, wanting for that guy, another victim of crime. I didn't remember his name anymore, but his boyfriend had been killed as well, and he shed a single tear. I mean, didn't shed a single tear over his dead boyfriend. At least I could get warm with the other bums. I wasn't a bum anymore. I was probably among the 30% of the richest men in the city. Yet I lived in a dingy basement because why wouldn't I? Why would I try to climb up? What was it worth? Weird people were staring at me. I decided to ask a few questions. Ying Pan. I had no idea who it was, but I recognized their name for some reason. Maybe I'd seen them in the database. But Ying Pan wasn't helpful. Unknown citizen. I felt sort of relief when I saw it. Somebody I didn't know. I knew too many people because of my job, my profession. I didn't want to know everybody. Because the more I knew, the more I hated them. Their sins, their ignorance, their callousness. And I couldn't claim to be the paragon of virtue either. Yet I don't know. At least I tried to do something. I knew it wasn't enough to clean up this city, but whenever one murder was solved, another would pop up. There was no rhyme or reason behind it. I was just another puppet in the puppet show, playing my part. Some random woman had seen the killer at 6 a.m. Yeah, it didn't help me much. Seemed sad. Yeah, so the killer was distraught after the deed. Why? Ah, the victim had been around Stanley Heights. I wonder why. I decided to have another drink. And the bottle was empty. I threw it away. And everybody got excited when the glass shattered. I guess they were bored. They were really bored. At least I cannot claim I get bored, since there's always some crime to solve. What time was it? It was 9. It was too early. Okay, I'd have to do something, otherwise I would go crazy. I couldn't go sell my stuff yet to the pawn shop. I think I found some friend of Lena. I should interview them. Joey Morrison. I figured the city hall was the place to go. I could find more about Joey and Phoebe, her girlfriend. Unknown citizen, a bomb. Yeah, what's the world coming to? Yeah, I know the feeling. He refused to tell me his name. He hadn't seen anything. He'd seen the perp in Watson Terrace, around the place. Yeah, I continued on my way to the city hall. There's still another Jarek Hobbs. He was the previous victim. His gay lover had killed him. I still wasn't sure why, but I think if I recall correctly, he regretted it. He didn't tell me why, but he said he regretted it. So why kill? Why not just, I don't know, break up? Why do people do anything? There was no rhyme or reason behind any of our actions, really. Phoebe. Where was Phoebe? I was looking through all of this garbage to try to find Phoebe Maguire. Yeah, I found out Phoebe's fingerprint. Yeah, I found it in the apartment. How about our perp? I didn't know his fingerprint yet, but I assumed it was FX, the one on the toy car. Then the friend was Joey Morrison. Joey Morrison, F.I. Non-binary fella. I didn't know what it meant. Lived in the Royal Lily Hotel. I decided just to head on over because why not? Maybe he could tell me something. I asked a random cop some questions, but he wasn't forthcoming, as usual. He said it had nothing to do with me, but he was wrong. If I didn't solve the case, nobody would. Nobody cared. I wondered if Phoebe cared that her lover had been killed. Think, once you entered the city, you lost your humanity. Except for me. I had my pretense, my hypocrisy, you could say. That was what I had. I knocked on the door to Joey's apartment. I saw an unknown citizen. It wasn't Joey, it was somebody else. He refused to tell me his name. Nor would he let me inside his apartment. Nor could he help me. None of it surprised me, really. And he refused to tell me anything. I was getting angry. I tried bribing him, but it didn't work. I wanted vengeance. So I barged in through the door. Oh, Joey Morrison. I saw Joey Morrison wearing women's underwear. I knocked on the door, hoping Joey would come and answer. Hey, Joey, what are you doing? Joey? Joey Morrison, talk to? He's going to be sick. He didn't let me inside, and I was sort of pleased. And he hadn't heard of any funny business. I guess he hadn't heard of Lena's death. He knew Richard Sparks, the perp, the suspect, who's obsessed about tennis. Well, I knew the name of the guy now. If we could trust Joey, I wouldn't trust this guy with a 10-foot pole, but oh well. I still wanted to ask him about Lena. Were they truly friends? Did he care? A woman was dead. Yeah, they were friends. Never shuts up about houseplants. She was obsessed about houseplants. I guess he didn't know she was dead. I didn't have the heart to tell him. Joey. I wondered, was it a girl's name? Non-binary. They have boobs, so I don't know. Joey sounded like a man's name, but I didn't know where the world was going anywhere. I saved the game because I realized I hadn't done it in a while. Yeah. So, I had a name. I was starting to feel a bit sad. Richard Sparks. It was time to go back to the city hall to look through all the records. But Joey, there'd been a gold mine. Him, her, who knows anywhere, who cares anymore? I think the only pronouns nowadays are dead or alive. You're one of them. Or maybe we're neither. Maybe this is purgatory. We all suffer, and once God smiles upon you, then you're dead, and you don't have to suffer through the shithole anymore. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe it's just I'm saying it to make me feel better. Richard Sparks. He sounds like a car mechanic. Richard Morton, Richard Sparks. Only 2 Richards in the whole city. The computer didn't want to print out his file. What the fuck was going on? I no longer knew. I got Richard Morton's file. I had to try again. Finally, the computer gave me the file I was looking for. Richard Sparks. But everything got laggy, but then I got it. And his fingerprints were FX. I want Richard Sparks, yeah. They were the fingerprints on the car. Yep, I was pretty sure he was the killer. Where did he live? Did I know? 1001 Royal Lily Hotel, so it all came back to the hotel once again. I decided to head on over. First I'd have to fill the details. The stupid form. It was justice. For I had no murder weapon. It was a gun. I recalled it was a gun, but I wasn't sure if it's a pistol or revolver. That's when I reached for my revolver. Yeah. Richard, why did you do it? Why did you kill her? I guess I should interview him after I catch him. Yeah, it was time to go once again. I had no handcuffs. I had to buy a pair. No, I could just take it. 3 handcuffs were better than not non-free ones. However, I still kept wondering, was the pawn shop open? No, that was a bar. Where was the pawn shop? I wanted to go to the pawn shop first. I wanted to sell my ill-gotten goods. I don't know. Maybe I thought it would even things out. It was still locked. No, I had to go catch the murderer, the bloody murderer. You know, I couldn't pretend like I was better than everybody else. I was still a criminal. I stole stuff. I assaulted people. I used justice as an excuse. But still, I caught murderers. You know, that was my good deeds and then my bad deeds. I was no different to anybody else in this hell of a town. I was one of them, and also I was different. I wondered whether Richard would be home. There was no key under the mat. I knocked on the door and received no answer. It was a bit too bright in here just to break in, so I had to dim some lights, and then I tried to bash in through the door. I got inside. I was confused for a while. Then I regained my bearings, switched on the lights, Found his address book. It was pointless at this point to record any more evidence, except find the murder weapon. Perhaps it was still here somewhere. The man wasn't home, but there was a camera in his bedroom. It sort of freaked me out. Why would anybody have a camera in their bedroom? It was creepy. Like, did they record themselves doing some naughty acts? I was trespassing. I knew it. Everybody knew it. There were more garbage in the hotel room. It was big. There was pistol ammunition, but it wasn't good enough it wasn't enough to convict a man. Business card. He was a black market trader. I wondered whether ill-gotten goods had something to do with the murder. Or was it personal? He was crying. He was distraught after killing Lena. Why? Why do they have human emotions? I think they should be outlawed by now in this city. There was no... I found his note. His password. I wanted to break into his safe. I wanted to see what was in there. Perhaps it was the murder weapon. There were 2 beds in his apartment, but I struggled to find his safe. I raided his fridge, but there was only milk and some beef. Raw beef wasn't my favorite, so I skipped it. There was a gramophone. I turned it on, but I heard no music. I wondered why. Perhaps it was because I had a streamer mode on and there might be copyrighted music there. The shower room looked uninteresting. I finally found the safe and the computer. The note said 1830. And I found 1,000,000 sync discs. I really regretted that my pockets were full. I'd have to come back here and steal them. I decided to go out right away. I would go sell my... Okay, the cameras almost caught me. I would go sell my ill-gotten goods, and then I would come back, take those discs, and then I'd be happy. Yeah. Wait a moment. I had to go AFK for a moment. I was back to the game. I was interrupted by something sanity gnawing. But now I was out. And I wanted to go to the alluring something. Alluring shanty. I got worried that whether my microphone was on or not. I turned it on or not. It was. I checked my stream. Okay. I realized I was hungry. And I had a cheeseburger, so I ate it. And the alluring shanty was still closed. Oh, it was opening right now. Haru Ogawa, yes. Haru, can I finally sell you something? Okay, bubble cap. Okay, this is almost worthless. I regret carrying it me. $50 for this crap. That's not good. Wristwatch, almost 100. It's not valuable, but at least it's something. Okay, let's go back to the hotel. I want to steal those discs. I mean, appropriate those discs. Maybe the perp has come back. The elevator was still waiting for me, inviting me back to the den of debauchery and crime. The guy worked for the black market. I never found it. I've seen their codes lying around. FLNCH. That should gain me entrance to the black market, but they wouldn't. I haven't found the place, nor do I really know what to buy if I get there. Will they really have something I need? I got like 1,000,000 sync discs. Then I went out. The guy was still not at home. I wondered whether his kitchen would have his work rota. Plenty of people wrote it in their kitchen for some reason. I guess everybody had a bad memory around here. Yeah, I guess you didn't really want to remember. There was a weird note. The youth today do not deserve my resources. I did not work to share. I worked to one day live in peace with my earned wealth, and it never came. Okay. So it's some anti-communist revolutionary. Whatever. I don't give a fuck about your motives. I don't know. I don't care if you consider yourself the hero or the villain. I don't know. I don't consider myself the villain, but I'm not a hero either. I'm just a guy who tries to uphold some justice. I had to look for the sink shop. I had lots of gear. I wasn't sure if I had them already installed or not. I didn't pay much attention to the names and brands and all of that. I was just wondering, like, hey, I want some new gear. Just, it felt like personal development or something. Like I was getting somewhere with my life. Whenever I installed some new hardware. What's this? Safe cracker. I would get money when I find their passcodes. It sounded good. I wanted it, even though I didn't really need so much money. So what does it mean? I could get taller or shorter? Yeah, taller, why not? What's this? You can no longer get cold. You inventory capacity by 1. I guess it's good not being cold. Okay, constitution. I can no longer get smelly either. What's this? No longer get tired? Can I get tired? Have I gotten tired ever? I saved the game after my new installations. I felt elated. But now I had to find the murderer. Richard Sparks. Now he worked in Commission Essentials. Black Market. Okay. What is Commission Essential? I didn't know where the black market was. I guess I had to start looking for it. I'd heard it was in a basement somewhere. Wasn't sure where. So I would just have to go into each basement, like the basement of some building like this. I didn't know how to find it, what was going on or anything like that, but it's... I guess I just have to knock on some doors, see if it looked like a black market or not. I was in Aiken's Terrace. There was an empty apartment. I think this was like I could buy it, but I didn't want to. Hey you. Rehane ready. I wondered whether he'd seen Richard, our suspect. Richard Sparks. Somewhere around Royal Lily Hotel. Well, yeah. I guess he would be there eventually. But now it was almost noon. If he was at work, he wouldn't be arriving anytime soon. He would be at work. He wouldn't be at the he wouldn't be at home. So I had to look for him. I wanted to find the man by myself. Somehow, if I'd find him here, if I found the black market and him inside, I'd feel more accomplished. But this was a flooded basement. I don't think there was anything here. Except I saw the infrared or the laser beam camera in some random room. No, there was nothing, nobody here, no signs of human life. I wondered what sort of bugs would live here. Frogs, something, I don't know. Serpents. Did anything live down here? That was the guy I talked to, the only inhabitant in this dismal cellar. How could I get out? I was lost. Suddenly I realized I didn't know how to leave this dismal place, and then I found it. The stairs to get out, and I was so happy about this place. This was Langley building. I saw a random Harold Pack. He had a nice beard. I didn't know who he was, but I wondered whether he knew who Richard was. He'd seen Richard around Royal Lily Hotel. Maybe it meant Richard didn't come around here. Maybe he'd seen him in the basement. The door was open. Maybe I'd been here before. Nobody was answering the doors. there anybody here? It was an empty apartment. I didn't care. I just wanted to leave. I didn't like these basements. They didn't make me feel comfortable. How could I find black market? How do you ask a man, hey, do you know where the black market is? Well, what do you expect them to answer? Etheridge Street. That's the central. Okay, maybe I should go to Toro Boulevard. El Toro. Could I find our man there? I found the boulevard. Did I? Was this the place? Was I there? Yes, I was on Toro Boulevard. I asked some random guy, but he refused to talk. How about you, random woman? Ela Meyer. I'd seen her before. I recognized her name for some reason. She'd seen him at Campbell Boulevard, Richard, nearby Hornet Essentials. What was Hornet Essentials? Had I ever been there before? I wondered, what was this? This was Watson Terrace. Somebody said they saw Richard here. I wondered, could this be the black market? Could it be here? Oh, accidentally barging in, but I guess since it's accidental, it can be also intentional. Somebody lived here. I wondered, could the black market be somebody's apartment or not? There was somebody here. Okay, he attacked me. I had to defend myself. Although technically I'd been the offender in this crime. However, I was here after a murderer. There was some random dude. He was sleeping. He had a box cutter. See, he was clearly a violent pervert. What time was it? Yeah, it was noon. Just around noon. Shopping list. He was clearly a bum. Homeless person with no direction in life. Perhaps this would teach him some discipline, I don't know what. But there was nothing in the basement. No signs of black market, no signs of Richard. I don't know. I was beginning to think maybe Richard. Was he doing the right thing? Was he helping us? You know, ridding us of this accursed city? I think I was starting to get crazy. You, can you say something sane to me? Do you know Richard? Watson Terrace. Why? What's around Watson Terrace? I didn't see. Should I go back? I didn't check the second basement floor. How about... No, I cannot go. Can I go? Is there a second basement? Why is Richard? Why was he seen here? No, there's only B1. Why? This was another apartment. Was this used by the black market? Who could tell me? What's this place? There was the phone records, but they couldn't help me now. And an empty apartment. No, this wasn't the place. The black market wasn't here. Where was it? You, random person, where are you gone? Could he tell me where Richard was? None of them were helpful. Chen Street. What was Chen Street? I don't know. I didn't think he would escape the city or anything, but still I was getting desperate. I wanted to find Richard as soon as possible for some reason. What was this place? Watson Terrace. I'd been there. Chen Street. What was Chen Street? Where was I? I finally located myself. Schultz Street. Where was Chen Street on the map? It was this tiny shithole of an area. It wasn't even mentioned on the map. Commission Essentials. Where is Commission Essentials? I have no idea. I guess it had something to do with the black market. Ah, this person. I'd spoken to them before. How about this guy? Commission Essentials. I had no idea what that place was. I couldn't find it in my detective book. Oh, I finally found it. Okay. So it did exist. So where was it? What was this place? Was it a store of some sort? I'd never heard of it before this case. Commission Essentials. It sounded so boring, so bureaucratic and corporate at the same time. But it was my destination. Was it this place? Streetside pavement? Where was I? What was it? I found him. It was him. Maybe I should knock on the door. I realized. Maybe I could talk to him. Finally, I found Richard Sparks and Commission Essentials. I know the password. I knew the password. FLNCH.
This building has entered a security protocol. Starch Cola thanks you for your cooperation.
Could I come in? No, I still couldn't go in. I thought of handcuffing the guy. I started handcuffing Richard. And somebody was attacking me. I found a Lazarus gun on him. I was sure it was the murder weapon, but somebody was still attacking me. I found his key, I found some money on him, and some bullets. And some random person was attacking me. It looked like a hobbit. Another person attacked me. Why? Lots of people started attacking me. Perhaps they worked for the black market, but they were down. I wanted to talk to Richard, ask him. I asked him whether he knew Lena. What could he say? The game got laggy all of a sudden. Really laggy. It looked like Lena Ross worked in Ophinex Technologies. That's what he said. And he saw them around Stanley Heights. He didn't tell me he killed her. Not yet, at least. I told him I was arresting him. Thank God, please stop me before I do it again. So that's why he was crying. That's why he regretted his actions. He couldn't control himself. It was some weird impulse. I located the murder weapon. But I had to locate it from my... Here. It was this. No. I wasn't sure. There were two guns in my inventory. Which one was the correct one? I wasn't sure. One of these had Lena Ross's fingerprints, so it probably wasn't the right one. Then how about the other gun? Where was it? Here, Lazarus. I decided to unpin all the guns I had and search him again. Now I found lucky 7, lucky 5, which one is it? Okay, once again I had to try. I wanted the right gun. This one, Lazarus 5. Okay, now I knew which was the one he was carrying. It had to be the murder weapon. I was sure. At least, I hoped I was. This was the murder weapon. I wanted to go hand in the case. Finally found the black market and the killer. I was on my way to the city hall in heavy rain. I just wished there would be no interruptions, no suspicious guy carrying a knife who wanted to have a talk with me. Just let me solve this case for now. I feel good for 10 minutes. I feel like a decent human being. And then I found the case tray and turned it in. The case was processing. The bureaucrats had a look. And I got all the options correct. The crime was solved. I still didn't know why. Why did retirement, okay? My social credit was 500. I mean plus 500. I got money. Social level credit was at the maximum. So I didn't know why Richard killed her, except he regretted it. He couldn't control him. It was some weird impulse. I decided to close the case. Maybe I didn't want to know more. And then retirement was mentioned. I got a form for it. I decided to choose somebody. I had to choose somebody to take my possessions. Hey Ruka, do you want my possessions? Additional comments? I don't know, my additional comment can be... there's some random items here. A screwdriver. That's my additional comment. No. This guy. Miriam. Why not? No, I couldn't do it. I had to pick this thing. Miriam Hoffman. Additional comment. Place a route to hand in. I saved just in case. Retire. And then I didn't know what would happen when I retire, but I think I was due retirement. I handed in the case. Are you ready to retire to the Fields Retirement District? This will end the game for this character. Yes, I confirmed. Too old for this. I got achievements. Retire, not a scratch. Retired without getting KO'd. It was raining. I'd solved the case, I've gotten the murderer, and I retired. For what? I didn't know. At least I was in the fields. I was out of Rectopolis. The city, quite literally, out of my ass, since I named it. Shadows of Doubt. Thanks for watching. Next time, Adventure Argonaut will probably return to Titan Quest and wait for this game to be updated. So, thanks for watching.